Education Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i Wood, in his maiden speech during the release of examinations for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, outlined matters of concern in the sector, citing teachers' absenteeism as a core factor that has led to the gradual dip in the examination results.
Time is here for us today, not tomorrow, to deal with some of these issues we face in our country, especially teacher absenteeism. It's becoming chronic in our country, it's affecting the performance of our children, and we can see it.
A World Bank report on Kenya supports this notion. The report states that the absenteeism in schools stands at 15.5% in Kenya, where in some areas teachers only taught for 2 hours during the whole term.
I know and I understand for sure that there are several factors that affect this. That is true. But why don't we deal with those that we know that affect us? Each person deal with your factors.
Traditionally, Form 1 selection takes place a week after the release of the exam results, but this time round, the exercise will be delayed by 2 weeks to allow for dialogue to build consensus over the contentious placement formula and the pay standoff between TSC and the teachers' unions.
I ask the unions, for example, to dispassionately come forward and sit with us, and I'm ready to engage. And anyone else who's involved, we will be talking to our colleagues at the Teacher Service Commission because they are an independent constitutional entity in the management of the recruitment and employment of teachers. But we will still offer suggestions to them and we will have a conversation on this issue.
In line with the guidelines issued in December, scores obtained by candidates' quotas, affirmative action in terms of region and gender, and candidates' choices will determine Form 1 selection. Top 5 students per county will be guaranteed national school slots of their choice.
I have received several representations. I will meet the Kenya Private Schools Association on 5th of January to discuss their concerns and the issues they have on this. But I would like us to have this discussion in circumstances of honesty and paying attention to the fact that equity and access to education is a critical issue for our country and everyone has a right to access.
The 2016 intray will also see the education sector go in for a curriculum review, with several stakeholders opining that there is need to overhaul the 844 system or make it more reflective of current trends and life skills. Taita Taveta Member of Parliament Joyce Slay has, in a draft Basic Education Amendment Bill of 2015, suggested that 844 be replaced by the 26334, which translates to 2 years in pre-primary school, 6 years in primary school, 3 years in lower secondary or junior secondary school, 3 years in senior school, and then 4 years in campus. All this will be taken into consideration when the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development sits from January, as directed by President Uhuru Kenyatta. So after this speech and after the dust has settled, focus will now shift to the year that is 2016 and the ministry headed by Dr. Fred Matiang'i and all education stakeholders to find out just how the sector will shape up. Willis Raburu, Citizen TV in Nairobi.